I had a client book one night on Oahu. One night. Her plan was to do Pearl Harbor and then fly to Maui the next morning. That was it. That was her entire Oahu itinerary. She had no idea about the North Shore, no idea about Kailua, no idea about the food scene or Diamond Head or the fact that you could spend a full week there and still have things left on your list. We fixed it, but only because she called me before her flights were locked in. That is not a rare situation. Hey, welcome back to Hawaii Travel Made Easy. I'm Marcy, and today I'm giving you the itinerary framework I use with almost every first-time Oahu client. 7 days, 10 days, 14 days, what each one actually looks like, why the structure matters, and what goes sideways when people start booking things before they have any kind of plan. This one runs longer than my usual Monday episodes, so settle in. Before I get into the day breakdowns, I want to give you the one principle that makes all of it work. Because once you get it, you can honestly build your own itinerary without my help. Organize your days by geography. Stay on one side of the island at a time. East side days together, North Shore days together. You are not driving from Waikiki to the North Shore and back to the east side in the same week. Because that's how you end up spending half your vacation in a rental car and feeling like you never quite arrived anywhere. Cluster your days by region. That's the whole secret. I'm going to skip the neutral rundowns of options and just tell you what I recommend to my friends. Do a split stay. Spend part of your time in Waikiki and part of it somewhere more low-key, either Ko'olina on the west side or a vacation rental on the North Shore. Waikiki gets dismissed sometimes as too touristy, and I get it, but I love it. The energy, the waterfront, that whole scene, it's iconic for a reason, and I genuinely want people to experience it. But Waikiki is not where you go to decompress, so the split gives you both. Start there, soak it in, and then move somewhere quieter for the back half. You get two completely different sides of Oahu, and the contrast makes each one better. If you're still working out whether Oahu is even the right island for your trip, episode 66 is a 3-minute quiz that'll help you figure that out. And if you're going back and forth on whether to island hop at all, check out episodes 9, 70, and 105 before you book anything. Okay, you're going to want a rental car for Oahu with one honest caveat. If you have a day where everything is walkable from your hotel, that car is going to sit in the parking garage, and you'll be paying both the rental fee and the parking fee. I've had those days, and it stings a little. Think through which days you actually need it. That said, the rental car is what lets you find that waterfall that isn't on any tour bus route, the farm stand you spotted while driving through the valley, the little lookout with no tour group blocking the view. It's what gives you the freedom to explore at your own pace and see a version of Oahu most visitors don't see. I always book through Discount Hawaii Car Rental. They're a broker, so they shop across multiple rental companies for the best rate instead of locking you into one. The link is at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Resources. Okay, let's talk about 7 days on Oahu, which is the minimum that works. 7 days is doable, but there's not a lot of slack, so the structure really matters here. Keep the first 2 days slow. Walk the beach, find a plate lunch spot, let your body adjust to the time zone. If you're coming from the East Coast, you're dealing with a 6-hour difference, and it will catch up with you if you try to cram day 1. The next 2 days belong to the east side. Hanauma Bay is here, and I need to flag something that catches a lot of people off guard. Reservations open only 2 days before your visit. Not weeks ahead, not a month ahead, 2 days. They open at 7 a.m. Hawaii time, and the good slots go fast. And if you miss that window, you will see the sold-out screen. Also, Hanauma Bay is closed every Monday and Tuesday, so factor that into your scheduling. If you don't want to deal with the booking portal, Roberts Hawaii offers a shuttle package from Waikiki that includes guaranteed admission and takes the parking headache away. You can book that about a month out. Either way, it's one of the best snorkeling spots on the island and worth the plan. The rest of your eastside time belongs to Kailua. Kailua Beach has this incredibly soft sand, and you can watch the kayakers heading out toward the Mokes, which are 2 small islands just off the coast. And there's something about that view that just makes you stop and take it in. Kailua Town has some of my favorite food and shopping on the entire island, so build in enough time to wander around. Your 2 North Shore days are where my kids are always the happiest. We grab burgers and shave ice in Haleiwa Town. That's our first stop every single time. And then we work our way up the coast. Laniakea Beach is a must for the turtles. They rest on the shore there, and all the times I've stopped, they have been there every single time. Just know you're legally required to stay at least 10 feet back, and there are volunteers on site to remind you. After Laniakea, we always stop at Kahuku Farms for their acai bowls. They grow the acai berries right on the farm. They actually won Newsweek's Best Farm-to-Table Restaurant in America in 2025. And you can taste the difference. I have a full review of the farm tour on my website if you want more on that stop. Plan to spend both days up at the North Shore rather than trying to drive back to Waikiki in between. Your last day is your flex day. Pearl Harbor if you haven't done it, last-minute shopping, or just going back to whichever beach you couldn't stop thinking about. And please do not fill that final day with a packed schedule if you have an evening flight. I've watched this go wrong more times than I want to count, and it's never worth it. With 7 days, I'd skip the west side unless that's where you're staying. It deserves more time than this trip can give. All right, 10 days on Oahu, that's the sweet spot. If someone asked me flat out how long to plan for Oahu, 10 days is my answer. You have enough room to actually experience the island rather than just get through it. You've got everything from the 7-day framework plus 3 more days to work with. Pearl Harbor gets one of those days all to itself, and I want to be specific about where I send people first. The Pearl Harbor Aviation Museum. It covers World War II the same as everything else out there, but it's not as somber as the USS Arizona Memorial. It appeals to a wider range of people. Kids, history buffs, anyone who wanders in front of a restored World War II fighter plane with no prior interest and suddenly can't stop looking. The thing that gets me every single visit, you can see the original hangar windows still riddled with bullet holes from the December 7th attack. The blue panes are the original 1941 glass. They're still there. It deserves a full morning at minimum. The other 2 extra days are also when the split stay I mentioned earlier actually makes sense. Move out of Waikiki for the back half, Ko'olina or the North Shore, and you get that quieter, more low-key side of Oahu along with the iconic version. Those days also open up the west side and give you real breathing room on the North Shore, extra beach time, and space for a luau without it feeling rushed. Book the luau well in advance because the good ones fill up. I have an episode ranking the Oahu luau's, so go find that before you commit to one. For tours and excursions more broadly, snorkel trips, boat tours, zip lines, I book through Viator and I can personally vouch for it. We just did the Kuloa Ranch zipline on a recent Oahu trip and I booked it through Viator. I have a full review on my website. Viator makes it easy to compare options, read real reviews, and book everything in one place. That link is at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Resources. 10 days is also when I'd plan a Flytographer session. The last time I did one, I booked it on Maui with my 12-year-old, mostly because I needed updated photos for my blog and Instagram. He was a good sport about it, but he was clearly not thrilled going in. Then something shifted about 20 minutes into the shoot. He was climbing rocks, trying to make me dizzy by spinning me around, attempting to piggyback me. By the end, neither of us wanted to leave. It turned out so much better than either of us expected, and the photos are some of my favorites from any trip we've taken. They have photographers all over Oahu. There's a $20 discount link at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Resources. Okay, 14 days on Oahu. Here's the deep dive. Our family loves 10 to 14-day Hawaii trips, and I'll tell you from experience, longer is better than you expect going in. A big part of that is the first few days of any vacation are really just your nervous system trying to settle down. When you're coming off of work schedules, school pickups, kids' activities, and all the regular commitments piled up at home, it takes a few days to actually arrive. A longer trip means you get to the part when you genuinely feel like you're on vacation, not just going through the motions of one. It also means you get real beach days, pool days, days where nothing is planned and you just hang out somewhere and let the afternoon happen. And you can still do all the big things, the luau, the boat trip, the zip line, without any of them feeling like you're checking boxes off a list. With 14 days, the whole approach shifts. You're not building a packed schedule, you're choosing a pace. You revisit your favorites. We go back to Kahuku Farms. We find our way back to Kailua. We do things twice because we want to, not because we ran out of time the first visit. You can spend a couple nights in a vacation rental on the North Shore instead of driving up from Waikiki every time. You can wander through Chinatown with no time limit, watch the sunrise from Diamond Head, and then actually sit down and have a slow breakfast after instead of rushing back for a 10 a.m. activity. Leave about a third of the trip open on purpose. Hawaii rewards that more than anywhere I've traveled. The best moments almost never come from whatever was on the schedule. And for anyone wondering whether they should island hop if they have 2 full weeks, episode 105 gets into all of that. But the short version, you really don't need to. Oahu alone can fill 2 weeks if you let it. So what's the mistake that shows up in every itinerary? No matter how long you're on Oahu, the thing I see go wrong most reliably is people underestimating how far apart things actually are. They look at the map, see everything sort of clustered on an island, and assume it's all close. Then they plan a day that has them driving from Waikiki to the North Shore and back in time for a dinner reservation in Honolulu and a sunset on the west side. That is not a day, that is a punishment. Cluster by region, build the drive times in, and keep that last day as a real flex day instead of packing it full. That's the whole framework. If you want someone to look at your actual itinerary and flag the stuff that doesn't make geographic sense before you leave, that's what my Hawaii Itinerary Audit is for. $50, you submit your itinerary online, and I give you detailed feedback within 2 business days. It has saved more than a few trips. Find it at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Itinerary Review. Well, that's the framework. 7 days works, 10 days is my honest recommendation, and 14 days is worth it if you can swing it. Everything I mentioned today, Discount Hawaii Car Rental, Viator, Flytographer, my North Shore Cafe Guide, the Kahuku Farms Tour Review, is all at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Resources. And for real help building out the details of your trip, I offer 60 and 90-minute consultations at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Travel Consultant. Thanks so much for being here, and see you Wednesday. Aloha.